best spot to hit is right in the head. One of the dummies is sturdier than the other. Good.
Hepzibah!
What is it?
Soldiers are coming for you!
Go. Come, quickly.
Make certain no one gets out of the house alive. Hepzibah! We're just here to talk! Nomarch Rudjek's been killed. Your friend, the Medjay, may have been involved. Come out, if you wish to clear his name. Prepare an ambush.
Neck! They will find my letters and burn down my place. I will be executed.
Don't worry. I will take care of this.
Watch out!
What's that? Who's there?
Keep low. He is getting too close.
Hey now. Now for the rest of them.
No one's jumping up.
Do not leave the bodies out in the open.
We'll spot any danger.
He's
going to be surprised.
They will not see him here. For the love of Ra, we cannot let them burn my house too, Bayek.
Roughly. Eyes open, steady on.
All with power. Something's close.
That does it.
Thank you, Bayek. I told you these Nekatiadids do not care.
I cannot believe their gall.
It is sad. Come upstairs. I will show you all the Magi duties of Siwa. All the problems of Siwa are here. I try to help everyone, but it is more than I can do.
So you are telling me you do not have the powers of a god?
But the real problem is that man you want to kill. Majunimon. The people were hopeful when he first arrived. Surely things would improve. We soon learned the truth, actually.
I fear for the safety of your family, priest. I will move them to a more secure area.
That is the man you're up against.
I will find him and kill him.
Majunimon
That's
is
your
not
problem.
allowed.
Neil just puts his arm in front of you like he's got this. Neil dives for her legs and she topples over. She struggles, but Neil has engaged Raptor's strength. Resistance is futile. He gets into a full mount position on top of her and positions his head directly over hers. The Lord has stopped.
I will talk to the blacksmith.
Yes.
So they're more less soldiers, more like thieves.
It's Neil. He slowly lets the nastiest movie I've ever seen drip out of his mouth and directly onto her forehead. It seeped onto her forehead and then down the sides of her head. Clara proceeded to cry and gag so hard that she was choking. Neil sees this as a sign that he has won and releases her from his hard strength grapple. He says, motioning over to Tard HQ. It was as if he had erased the memory from his head entirely, and it was glorious. Neil breaks in the new Wrangler. Be in 8th grade, be about halfway through the year. As I said before, Neil is the lightning raptard. He is fast as hell. Well, he put this particular asset to good use against his new Wrangler. Well, at lunch one day, the new Wrangler wasn't paying much attention. He greatly underestimated the power of Neil. While the dumb fuck was flirting with one of the substitute teachers, Neil slipped the fuck out to go somewhere. Tard Wrangler finally notices and asks me what happened to him. I don't know, it's your job to keep track of him. He runs off down the hallway. I follow out of curiosity. We go out to the main walkway. Neil's nowhere to be found, but his pants are on top of the trash can. We hear a scream come from the building we were just in. Turns out Neil had scared some of the girls walking down the hall. Neil has now been running around for a good 15 minutes straight at full speed. This would be hard for anyone to undertake. Neil is found by the two of us. The Tard guards grab him by the wrist and pull him towards the bathroom to put his pants back on. Neil mumbles, I need some help with the request. Neil engages Tard-proof grip on the Tard guard's wrist. It is well known fact that Tard-proof grip is unbreakable. Neil tries to free his wrist to no avail. Neil throws up that day's lunch he had. Pizza, fries, and juice. All of the Wrangler's pants and shoes. He sighs in disgust and tosses Neil into the bathroom. Neil begins his hard screech due to the excessive force used on him. Thankfully, no tones were nearby to rage. I help calm Neil down, and he tells the principal the Wrangler hurt him. Wrangler is ultimately fired a week later for this, all because he was a dumb fuck. Don't flirt with substitutes when you should be watching Neil. They aren't even hot. Neil versus Tard Wrangler Part 2. Be in 8th grade still. Be almost the end of the year, only a month or so left. School has decided to try Tard integration again. Bad idea. Neil has now been assigned a much more seasoned Tard Wrangler. He has his eyes on Neil at all times. Neil fucking hates it even more than last. Just so turns out that I got Neil integrated into my woodshop class. Woodshop teacher's old fat man with large white beard who does not give a shit. There are the possible dangers of his class. Why electronics in the woodshop, I will never know. Tard Wrangler is only allowed to watch from outside the classroom as to not disturb his class. You're learning how to make a shelf. Goodbye to use jigsaw. Neil goes to use jigsaw and completely disregards all safety precautions. Woodshop teacher sees this and shits a brick. Runs over to Neil shouting, what the hell do you think you're doing? Did you ignore everything I said? His eyes light up with fury at the woodshop teacher's showing of aggression. Engage Raptard roar as short burst mode. I prepare for shit getting wrecked. Woodshop has yet to encounter Neil and has no idea what the fuck is going on. He continues to shout aggressively. What the hell are you doing, kid? I said get out. Neil has had enough of Santa Claus's shit. Neil tosses the hunk of wood at the old man at full force. It connects with his head with the power of 12 large high-dropped lighters. Santa is out cold. The seasoned Tard Wrangler sees this and immediately jumps into action. He runs directly at Neil and lunges for him. Too slow for the lightning-wrapped Tard. Neil avoids it and runs for the door. Wrangler saw his coming and locked the door after he came in. Neil begins to panic. He has never faced a Wrangler this good. Wrangler begins to corner Neil. Neil senses that his defeat is imminent. He silences his wrapped-Tard roar as the Wrangler closes in. He shouts at the Wrangler, "Acumen!" referring to acumen, what he thought was a word equivalent to fuck due to a previous encounter. The Wrangler picks up Neil and prepares to bring him to Tard HQ. Neil has stopped his resistance entirely. For once, someone has bested Neil. What is happening, .jpg? Neil just waves to me and utters that familiar slur of words. Thank you. Neil versus Tard Wrangler Part 3, Neil's Revenge. Be in 8th grade still. Be about a week after the previous incident. Surprisingly, the school has kept the whole Tard integration thing going. Neil has had it up to his head, only 5 feet, with his new Tard Wrangler shit. He refuses to give him even an inch of space, not even during lunch when Neil chills with me and my friends. Neil has been planning this. He had to have. Something so elaborate could not have simply come out of thin air, even for Neil. Neil waits until lunch to unleash his wrath. Remember, all the Tards eat lunch at the same time with all the regular kids. Eating lunch happens to be per day. Neil after Neil unleashes the most violent of his wrapped-Tard screeches I have ever heard. .fuck.jpg. Neil was unprovoked, and I was very confused as he did not let me in on his plan. Tards start to go batshit crazy. Rice and cheese soaring over our heads. I duck down as to avoid the carnage but continue to watch Neil. The seasoned Tard Wrangler starts his approach to apprehend Neil. Not happening, bro. Neil fucking books it using his lightning wrapped-Tard speed. All the way to the other side of the cafeteria in milliseconds. Tard Wrangler picks up speed in order to keep pace with Neil. Stops paying attention to the ground. Neil has started to remove his clothes by now. Tard Wrangler's foot hits a pile of taco meat that has been thrown by the raging Tards and does a cartoon-style slip right onto his back, now covered in taco ingredients. Neil has completed the process of undressing. He's letting his uncircumcised penis hang for everyone to see. Neil begins to charge the Tard Wrangler. The students look on in horror to the events unfolding before their very eyes, but they could not fathom what was going to happen. Continuing his mighty wrapped-Tard screech, Neil dives on top of the Wrangler, engaged Tard strength. Even the full-grown Wrangler is not able to fight off Neil's immense Tard strength. Neil silences his wrapped-Tard screech and scoops up the stray taco meat ingredients, shoving them directly into his mouth. He chews it all into a half-digested puree. He's gonna do it, .jpg. He positions his head directly above the Wranglers, just as he had to Barb the bitch earlier that year, and regurgitates this taco spit puree onto the face of the Wrangler. Neil has had his revenge and sees no reason to continue the onslaught. He gets off of the disoriented, taco-covered Wrangler and gets dressed once again. The raging mob of Tards have almost all been subdued by the other Tard Wranglers. Neil is picked up by one Wrangler and dragged towards the cafeteria exit, as another tends to the seasoned Tard Wrangler's wounds. Neil is in complete harmony. He simply waves goodbye to me and shouts in my direction, "Thank you," all the while holding a very toothy grin because he knows he has broken the Super Wrangler. Though he is free from the wrath of Neil. This is the last story. Neil, story of the Tard ball game. Be in 8th grade, be in the last 2 weeks finally. Miss Springer.
We're gonna do one last mission.
For that 1 period a day. 4 choices, man. B-day of event. Walk up to Neil, who is sitting on home plate. You ready for the game, bud? Ready, Pew. Turns out Neil doesn't like baseball very much. James walks up to Neil and I before the game commences. I'm gonna kick your butt, Cable. Neil doesn't give a fuck, as usual, and I simply disregard the Tard. All he wants to do is sit there in the outfield until the shit is over, but he has taken a liking to the batting part. Lee Neal's turn to bat. Miss Springer is pitching underhand all the tards. She has obviously underestimated Neal's power despite her previous encounters. Miss Springer throws the ball. Neal misses his first swing. I hear James from over on second base. You Gable, you're bad. She tosses the ball a second time, and Neal misses yet again. James feels it necessary to continue taunting Neal. Told you it's bad, you Gable. Neal has had enough of this shit. Circus face .triple. Miss Springer tosses the ball to Neal a third and final time. Neal hits the fucker with all of his strength. It was as if the spirit of Babe Ruth had been reincarnated into a tard. The ball blazed straight towards James with the speed of 1,047 meters. Oh shit, not J.K. Boom, the ball cracks against his skull. Sweet dreams, James. He's out fucking cold. Miss Springer is now having a fucking breakdown. I personally think she should be praising God that the speeding object did not hit her for once. She begins to shout at Neal. Why do you always have to cause trouble? Neal does not like being yelled at. Neal, taking the sign of aggression to heart, commences his mighty rap toward Screech. The shitstorm is upon us. The tards run rampant. They've been consumed in rage. Tards are ramming other tards with their heads while wearing batting helmets. Others are throwing the balls at the helpers at near Mach 2 speed due to their tard strength. Thank God there was only one bat, and it was possessed by Neal. Tard wranglers jump into action. Despite being seriously under-equipped, they put up a good fight. The Tard apocalypse was going on directly in front of me, and I got front row seats. Chubby Tard from my original story, who was KO'd by the door, now has on a batting helmet and can obviously not be affected by head injury. He charges Miss Springer with his mighty Tard-Nocerous stance. The Tard-Nocerous hits Miss Springer with the combined tackling power of Ray Lewis and Lawrence Taylor. Down for the count. Neal has won his battle and seizes his red Tard Screech. The Tards are almost entirely armed by now, and the Wrangler begins to approach Neal to restrain him. Neal has no intention of putting up a fight. He is now content that he has had his revenge. As Neal is carried back to Tard HQ by the Wrangler, he waves back towards Neal at the baseball field. Thank you. See you tomorrow, Neal. Niggas ain't got shit on Neal's athleticism.
Kind of you. God be blessed. As the Norways will say. Soldiers, of course. Almost every villager has cuts, bruises, broken bones. To help them, I put
We had one at middle school. Huge, semi-intelligent car. Maybe Don was a mafia boss. He pretended to be his henchman. I was the Don's mouth, that is, I had to push him for a list of millions each month. He had to beat the shit out of anyone on that list. Donnie eventually gets into the part, starts coming to school with a red rose in his pocket, and starts picking up a Sicilian accent. One week he insists we had to put one of the teachers on the list. We refused to say no. He gets visibly angry and starts calling us not good. He rises, picks a chair, and goes looking for the teacher. The teacher steps into the class in that moment. Don takes the chair and starts whacking the teacher with the chair. I almost pass out of laughter. Janitors come, and Don gets suspended. Teacher finds list. Brent gets framed and suspended as well. Don returns to school 1 week later. Kisses hand saying, "Welcome back, Don." Don is back. Apparently he had a few good sessions with the school therapist for Downey's. The therapist had brainwashed him into thinking that whacking people with share was not okay. Don, we need a new list. I know this! But then, eventually we managed to convince him that the therapist told him so because he was actually afraid of him. To better get the message through to his head, I showed him a few Dragon Ball Z AMVs, you know, the ones with the Linkin Park songs. Don finally reawakens. He is all jacked up and pumped because of my AMVs. A classmate that got suspended threatens to snitch. Hey Don, one of your men has betrayed us. Don says nothing. Don, what do we do? Don still says nothing, but I see his leg shaking. Don? No, waiter! We get out of school, each side of them. Suddenly I hear people screaming. Apparently Don had charged like a fucking rhino through the crowd against the snitch, tripping him over the stairs. Snitch gets up and slaps Don as hard as he can. Oh shit, JPG. Don starts screeching like a T-Rex. He wants to kill the snitch now. Long story short, a local policeman passes by and he gets the idea that the snitch is bullying Don. Snitch gets another suspension, eventually changes school. He still doesn't know it was my fault all along. Other kids are now legitimately scared of the Don. Now kids
he seems to take it as, hey, give me a call.
We even had some kind of made man ritual, where the Don had decided the new member is worthy.
Gotta be careful explaining to RJ. He seems to take it as, hey, give me a call.
Towards the end of the second semester, Don now has 40 made men. We even have a secret gesture. He has developed a real addiction to Dragon Ball's AMVs. He's now convinced he is some kind of mafioso Super Saiyan. Thanks to my charisma, I am now the Don's official consigliere. Parents super happy the Don has so many friends. They frequently invite me and a few other trusted made men home. The list thing has been abandoned now that the whole school knows about us. The Don now has a social life, friends, and frequent power trips courtesy of Dragon Ball AMVs. He goes to an afternoon school for Downies. He even has a Downy GF.
Huh?
He treats her like his gun ball or something. One Downy at the afternoon school is obviously not okay with the Don's success. Of course, it's not long before a new list gets issued and the rival's Tard's name appears on that.
27th.
As his trusted consigliere, I tell him to stay calm and wait for the right time for vengeance. One afternoon, we get some kind of bullshit integration course about tolerance and diversity. The enemy down.
Not sure why that matters, though.
The Don is fucking fuming right now. We try to calm him down and avoid another rhino charge by feeding him Mars stars. Meanwhile, Enemy Downey has ended his quote-unquote speech. The Don's gun wall is there as well. She starts clapping the Downey. Downey gets close and kisses the Don's woman. Oh shit, JPG. The Don freezes. Well, Mars bars drool out of his mouth. He pushes me aside, and Rhino charges the Downey. Stabs him in the leg with a fucking Bic pen. Janitors are all out and forced to stop the Don. Eventually, I call the parents. The Don's gun maul has now viciously changed sides. She slaps the Don and starts sucking the Downey's open wound. Really? Don now faces risk of being expelled. Okay. Therapists put him on meds and mentions bad influence to mother.
Yeah, my neck is a little stiff.
As an example of tolerance, blah, blah, blah. Eventually, the Don is not suspended, thanks to our insistence that we get the school's director to keep it, leveraging on pity and shit. The Don returns. He is visibly changed, less responsive. Don, what's wrong? Don? School! School! He was drawing a house with flowers the whole time. The Don keeps his head low for a few days. His mom invites me to his place one day. Apparently she is still oblivious to our little club. Find a bottle of pills on the kitchen's table. Apparently they got the fucker on Xanax. Report to other made men to decide how to proceed with the Don out of the game. One of the made men agrees to replace the Xanax with vitamin B supplements. We get ourselves invited at the Don's place once more to complete the ordeal. A few days pass, the Don is slowly returning among us. Parents keep stuffing his face with pills. The fools were merely making the Don stronger. The Don is obviously not taken too well to Gun Maul's betrayal, and the other Downies sending him into therapy. Demands his men to take care of both Downies. Don, we have a new one who wants to become a made man. Who? A scrawny kid comes forward, advancing towards the Don. No, he's not good. But Don, he will make anything for you. Don goes silent and starts laughing. Yes, yes. As consigliere, I demand the newcomer to show his worth to be admitted into the family by becoming the Don's new bodyguard for a whole week. which means he had to buy in wires, upload of Dragon Ball related stuff, and overall please the Dawn's demands for material goods. The Dawn is now back in full force, backed up with vitamin B, Lincoln Park songs, and hatred. Parents still think he is on Xanax, so they are sending him to Tard school again. Scrawny Kid is forced to go with him. Afternoon Tard wranglers arrange some kind of social game for Tards, where they have to guess a thing while blindfolded. The Dawn gets a seat next to his archenemy. Wranglers want them to make peace, so the Dawn is face to face with his archenemy. The game goes well for a while. Apparently both the Dawn and his nemesis are doing just fine, until it's time for the Dawn to guess when blindfolded. Arch-nemesis thinks it's obviously a good idea to slap him in the back of the head. It is not. The Dawn flips the desk, and before he can find enough time to rhino charge his enemy, he gets the Wranglers on his ass. Wranglers call parents once more. Scrawny Kid testifies for the Dawn, saying he was provoked. The Dawn goes off unpunished once more. Scrawny Kid is made honorary made man on the spot. School was open once more. By September, the Dawn, now with a fresh new golden ring and more intelligence points, was a force to be reckoned with. Our little society grew to 50-plus members, all of them abiding to the rules of silence, under the ruthless fist of the Dawn. Every month we had the list, and one of the janitors was consistently on it. Now it was mostly about bullying other kids until they came to the Dawn to pay him respect by kissing his ring. And we made sure they meant it. Apparently the Dawn realized that his condition was with almost total impunity for his nefarious deeds. But now he rarely got his hands dirty, except for the aforementioned janitor. He fucking hated him for reasons I never understood. Now there's this gypsy kid outside our school. Does the usual gypsy shit, such as begging, stealing our stuff, or scratching cars with coins when he is bored, sometimes with a few other fellow gypsies. Usually giggles and points his brown finger at Dawn whenever he gets out of school. Dawn obviously doesn't like this, not even one bit. Since I'm his trusted consigliere, I advise him to stay calm until we can find a solution to the problem. We can't exactly risk getting the Dawn stabbed by a gypsy by taking him on directly. And besides, that's what made men are for. Now one of our oldest recruits, a stocky kid. We used to call him the Lemon. You see, the Lemon was a good guy, but he was bipolar, which means he could snap at any second and fucking murder you with the first thing he had on his hand. I knew about this, since the first time we heard about the Lemon was at a birthday party, where he had tried to stab the host with a plastic kink knife. The knife broke, so he tried to strangle his victim with his bare hands. On that one time, when he fended off 3 other older bullies with a washing pole, and beating them so hard they had to be hospitalized with 3 broken ribs and one of his front teeth gone, I had recommended him personally to the Dawn. We made sure he got welcomed by all members of the society, which in turn maybe earned the Lemon's undying and eternal loyalty, since he didn't exactly have any friends before meeting us. Now, the plan birthed by my 12-year-old mind was simple. We just needed to show up in force to the gypsy after school, be reasonable and tell him to stop. And since I was the most persuading one, it was my turn to go in person. I want to kill. No, Dawn, we can't have you do this. Don't worry, just, I want to kill. Of course, you don't get to disobey the Dawn. So, 6 of us plus the Dawn were supposed to show up in front of the gypsy to talk to him. The Lemon was among us, and boy, if it was a mistake. We basically show up in front of the gypsy. Listen, bro, you have offended my friend here. You can't do that. Gypsy stares at the Dawn, then starts laughing and tells us all to fuck off. Bro, listen, my friend here. Gypsy takes an empty can and throws it against us. He hits the Lemon on the cheek. Holy motherfucker, here we go, .jpg. The Lemon starts screaming like a banshee, and screaming. Then kicks the gypsy in his leg. Gypsy falls down. The Lemon starts pummeling the poor bastard. Then gets up, grabs the kicking and screaming gypsy by his shirt, and rams his fucking head into a car door. The gypsy's screams attract a couple of his allies nearby. It's two grown-up gypsies. I'm about to shit myself. Other made men try to prevent the lemon from killing his victim. Meanwhile, the fucking Don is just laughing like a maniac, jumping around like he's possessed. This, kill him! The little gypsy's allies immediately charge at the lemon and the made man. One of them pushes the Don aside in the process. The Don stops laughing. Well, I start wondering how many years of jail I'm going to get for this. By now, it's basically 2 adult gypsies versus 5 kids. The lemon, and now a fucking fuming Don. The Don Rhino charges one of the adults to glory. Gypsy falls to the ground with the Don on top of him. The other gypsy, standing as alone against the other 4 made men, starts screaming for help. Nearby shopkeeper steps in to break up the fight. Cops get called. The gypsies all get arrested. We are called in to testify the next day. We make it sound like the gypsies had attacked a Down syndrome and a bipolar kid, so we stepped in to protect them. 2 adults get 5 years of jail each, and one gypsy gets sent to duty. We even make it into the local newspaper. Local Romanian gang attacks and injures mentally handicapped kids. 3 arrests. The locals go apeshit and set the gypsy camp on fire. And since we are close to the elections, the mayor sends the cops to clear the camp and kick the jippos out a week after citing security concerns. Shopkeeper now becomes our best bro. He always gives us gummy bears for free. The whole school now hails us as heroes. The Don gets fucking flapped.
Don't listen to Mr. Paranoid there. I call people because I want to, not because I need to.
Voices about the Don's last fight start circulating around the school. Now kids from first year are fucking terrified of the Don. As his trusted consigliere, I make sure none of the smaller kids get to challenge the Don's hegemony. What? Hegemony? I need to look this word up. Alright, so apparently it's pronounced hegemony. Its meaning is apparently leadership or dominance, especially by one country or social group over others. I bet you thought you weren't going to be learning shit here. Well, you did. Bye. Several retards in my high school, but nobody was inside except my fault
I am not Mr. Perry.
It's
a statement that I made. I said something that I couldn't hear what you had said. The next thing I know, you were called.
2 months in the freshman year. Never seen a detail so I was unaware of the shit story. In hall, during the past food.
I had called you because I didn't feel like re-saying another voice clip.
Staring at girl's ass next to my locker. Both slowly start rubbing their crotches and moving. Girl turns to go to class, suddenly screams from the girl. Card digs her out, and they try to rub her ass and tits to the girl said. I start yelling and pushing them off as she runs away. Dead silence, and then the smell starts overpowering the area. Dual tard battle cry commences. Your food! Your food! Attacking me in tard rage with dicks flapping and shit smell overpowering. Wrangler comes just in time before one with a shit smeared ass. Gets attention, even though it's helping a 9 out of 10 hot girl. I let you date her after we talked about me helping her.
I had called you because I didn't feel like re-saying another voice clip.
But it was glorious, no less. Enter Timmy the Destroyer. Only potato target downs in the school. Tarn's strength is easy to see as he destroys anything that doesn't bend to justice. Actually kind of cool for a retarded kid. Always tries to make people stop bullying and stop doing bad things. One day near Thanksgiving break, a group of black kids picked on this skinny kid from the band and started to get physical. Timmy creeps around the corner like a ninja, slowly coming behind the black kids. Puffs chest out and destruction with one face. Black dickheads out to ghetto tough and persist anyway. Big mistake. More Screech commencing takes 4 teachers and 3 wranglers to barely subdue Timmy. The black kids are sent to the hospital. Everyone gives him the nickname the Destroyer.
Every few weeks, soldiers come to take our medicine and foodstuffs.
2 months later, after a winter break, at lunch, sitting with my friends and girlfriend, Timmy's standing right up in front of us, looking at me, says, "You could use." I pick it up, no questions asked, when I sleep on it. He sits down, everyone's on me. Find out who's really nice, just takes like...
So here's the stick. I'm gonna walk in there, not even gonna bother hiding, and murder every last fucking one of them.
He has a huge 3-wheeled trike he rides everywhere. One day I ride my bike across the street.
Who's gonna fucking make me? You?
Here, fuck this nigga. Timmy puts out a lock in the back of his flatbed, swings it, putting up all the knuckles swelling and singing his gunpowder. More Screech commencing. Overpowering force puts up the Screech powers up. Claw his throat square in the chest of one, knocking him down and out. All run for their lives as Timmy the Destroyer chases them.
It's hardly worth raiding this house.
Holy shit, he's under arrested out. My fault twins at it again, screaming their chorus and singing everywhere. 7 girls have been touched at this point, and they have language following them everywhere. Timmy passes by.
That's right, I murdered him with a trident. A pitchfork trident.
Dick comes out and attempts to dry humping my GF. Timmy the Destroyer immediately raging the war Screech.
Why they would put a spear like that in here, I don't know.
Still has fresh on it. My fault twins immediately realize their mistake. Cowering in fear as they sail into the mission to the trance of Wayne static screaming. Falcon Punch hits my fault twins each one time in the dick. Chorus of crying on the ground. Tar Wranglers subdue all. Vehicles are murdered. I skipped it. Master plan of destruction gets planned all afternoon.
Who's gonna hear you? They're all dead.
Jeff and myself have been planning the action for some time between Timmy and Destroyer. My fault twins. Timmy hates them immensely from the last instant, and we convince him that he needs to follow them everywhere to make sure all women are safe. Immediately convinced he needs to assert his authority on them. All that year and next year he follows them around. My fault twins look more and more unhinged as the months go by. Incidents and rumors of being cornered by Timmy the Destroyer have begun to be heard. New teacher in my school, easily 10 out of 10.
The temple is yours now.
The my fault twins can't be...
Ba 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 ba, they'll be dead it.
It's time to destroy.
I almost forgot to give you your
Gio
medicine
tells
from the
Timmy
sunken
he needs
horse.
to watch that teacher because the my fault twins are always watching him.
You know, the excitement
Passing
that
through
was
the
what
Tarzan goes not being
Your
John.
message to see why it's
Happens a lot. Burst of screams from all sides. I
promise
did
me
not
you will not
expect the
become consumed
celebrity.
with your vengeance by
think of nothing else.
Naked my fault twins running down the hallway. Mine 10 out of 10 teachers on chaser into the classroom with full hard-ons. Holy shit, worst teacher erupt. Timmy the Destroyer is ready to him at the front of the door and then flies out. Desks flying everywhere and glass breaking. given no thought, Scott gave the on her face. Wranglers and security arrived to subdue everything. My folks were committed to asylum and hospital. No longer attend school. Susan destroyed it back in school. When it's made
Kamehameha. Kamehameha.
Very rich. First day back, shared cookies with Timmy. Laughs at cookies, says, "It's your trick,